Have you ever stopped to really think about what you're chasing? You know, when you're pursuing success.
Mm-hmm.
We all strive for it, right? In work, life, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But how often do we actually consider the hidden costs?
Yeah.
Let's unpack this.
Exactly. That's what this deep dive is all about today. We're looking at what people often sacrifice. You know, their time, maybe their health, sleep, certainly.
Relationships too, I bet.
Oh, definitely relationships. All for achieving these goals. So we're going to pull out the key insights from the source material we looked at, give you a kind of shortcut to understanding this whole complex picture.
Great. So let's maybe kick things off with the big question our sources seem to wrestle with. What does success actually mean to you, the listener?
Right.
Because that definition, it feels so personal, doesn't it? So varied.
Yeah.
And maybe it even changes over time.
It really does. And what's striking looking through the material is just how many different answers there are. It's definitely not one size fits all. For some people, yeah, it's about the money, like earning a lot. But for others, it's having time to travel maybe, or building something they really, really love.
Or just peace.
Or just peace, exactly. But the sources also show this tension, right? Society often pushes this narrower view of success, money, status, and that can lead you down a path that isn't really yours.
And that's where this hidden price tag comes in, isn't it? No matter how you define success, it seems like it always demands some kind of trade-off.
It always comes with a price. And often that price starts with time. Your time.
How so?
Well, there was this pretty groundbreaking Harvard Business School study mentioned in the sources. It found that, get this, 94% of professionals work more than 50 hours a week.
94%?
Yeah. And nearly half of those work more than 65 hours.
65?
The sheer volume of time. That's what's really fascinating here.
That is just intense. And what does that really mean for people's lives? I mean, beyond just the number of hours, do the sources talk about why? Is it just ambition, or is it something else pushing this?
It's a mix, it seems. Ambition plays a part, for sure. But a lot of the sources point to this always-on work culture.
Technology, competition.
Exactly. You're always connected. There's always pressure. And the direct result, less time for rest, less time for family, or just, hobbies, things that actually recharge you.
It's a very clear trade-off then, happening right now.
A clear, quantifiable trade-off for millions.
But, sometimes statistics, they feel a bit abstract. There's a famous story, though, that really cuts to the heart of this, I think. It asks what we're really aiming for. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Ah, you mean the story of the businessman and the fisherman?
That's the one. Tell us about it.
Okay, so the classic version goes like this. A rich, very successful businessman is on vacation in this small coastal village. Beautiful place. He sees a local fisherman just relaxing by his boat, playing with his kids, his wife nearby, not really working hard.
Right.
So the businessman, being driven, asks him, hey, why aren't you out there fishing more, catching more fish?
Right, trying to optimize them.
Exactly. And the fisherman just shrugs and says, well, I catch enough for my family's needs.
Simple enough.
But the businessman sees potential. He says, look, if you worked harder, stayed out longer, you could buy more boats, hire people, build a whole fishing empire, move to the city, list it on the stock market, become really rich.
Okay, the standard path.
Right. And the fisherman listens patiently, then asks, and then what?
Huh. Good question.
The businessman beams, thinking he's got the killer answer. Well, then you could retire, move back to a small coastal village, relax, spend time with your family.
Oh.
And the fisherman just smiles gently and says, but that's what I'm doing right now.
That just hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you pause and think about the why. Why are we chasing what we're chasing?
Yeah.
We're just running towards some finish line without remembering why we started running in the first place?
Exactly. The story, and a lot of the philosophy in our sources too, it highlights that maybe the real goal isn't just stuff, accumulation.
What is it then?
It's often things like happiness, peace, just, quality time with the people you love. It warns us about letting external measures like money or status override what we internally value most.
Which brings us neatly to this idea of trade-offs. It sounds simple, give something up to get something else.
Right.
But the sources suggest it's more insidious than that. It's the hidden nature, the way these sacrifices kind of stack up over time, often unnoticed.
Precisely. They accumulate. So maybe you decide to work, say, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
You might get that promotion, earn more money, sure. But the sources are full of examples showing the common trade-offs. Your health starts to decline, maybe mentally or physically, or you miss those key moments, Kids growing up, family events.
Things you can't get back.
Things you absolutely cannot get back. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are real losses in your quality of life.
I remember reading in one of the articles about a student named Lynn. Her story really stuck with me.
Tell me about her.
She worked incredibly hard, late nights, every night, totally focused on becoming a top manager. And she did it. After 3 years, she got the promotion.
Okay, so she achieved her goal.
She did. But the article described her feeling just exhausted, lonely, completely burned out.
Burnout. And Lynn's story, unfortunately, isn't unique. It's become so prevalent that, as our sources note, the World Health Organization actually recognized burnout.
Right, they classified it.
As an occupational phenomenon. It's basically caused by chronic stress at work that hasn't been managed well.
So it's not just feeling tired, it's more serious.
Much more. This WHO recognition, it's a big deal. It shifts the conversation from, it's just you to this is a systemic issue related to workplace conditions. It's a real health condition.
Which really raises an important question for everyone listening, doesn't it? Are you working with purpose, like truly aligned with what matters to you?
Sure.
Or are you just chasing status, running on that treadmill without really thinking about the long-term cost?
That's the critical reflection, I think. But okay, let's not just dwell on the problems. Let's talk solutions. How can you reach for success without losing yourself along the way?
Yes, please. Let's shift gears. What actionable steps do the sources suggest?
Well, the first step, and maybe the most important one, seems to be defining your own success. Really figure out what truly matters to you.
Is it the money? Is it freedom? Is it making an impact?
Exactly. Nailing that down. And some sources tracking, like long-term well-being, found that having this clear personal definition actually protects you.
Protects you how?
It acts like a shield against just chasing status or comparing yourself because you have your own internal compass pointing the way.
Okay, so define your own success first. What's next?
Second is setting healthy boundaries, which sounds simple, but...
That's hard in practice, learning to say no, protecting your time.
Right. And it's not just saying no. Some sources emphasize actually scheduling your personal time, your rest, your family time, treating it like it's just as important as a work meeting.
Give it the same weight.
Give it the same weight. That mindset shift apparently makes a huge difference in reducing overwhelm.
Okay, define success, set boundaries. What's North 3?
Third, celebrate the small wins. Don't just wait for the huge goal 10 years down the line.
Acknowledge the progress.
Yes. Acknowledge the steps along the way. Behavioral psychology stuff shows this gives you little dopamine hits, keeps you motivated, and fights that feeling that happiness is always somewhere off in the future.
The arrival fallacy, I think they call it.
It's exactly that. So celebrating small wins helps you enjoy the journey, not just focus on the destination.
Makes sense.
Fourth, and this came up everywhere, take care of your health, your physical and mental health.
Non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Success is pretty pointless if you're too sick or unhappy to enjoy it. Sleep, food, movement. It's not a luxury, it's the foundation. Some sources even argue that sustainable success is, in large part, good health.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Okay.
Got one more.
The final one is about comparison. Don't compare yourself to others.
Ooh, that's a tough one today. With social media and everything.
It really is, but the psychological studies are clear. Comparing your path, your progress, your life to someone else's curated feed. It's a recipe for feeling inadequate and anxious.
Yeah.
Your path is your path. It's unique. Recognizing and owning that is key to contentment. Avoid that trap of constant competition.
Okay, so those 5 steps sound really practical. Define success, set boundaries, celebrate small wins, prioritize health, and stop comparing.
Integrating those can really lead to a more sustainable and frankly more fulfilling way to achieve whatever success means to you.
So let's quickly recap what we've covered in this deep dive. We've seen that success, well, it's deeply personal, and it almost always comes with a cost. There are trade-offs involved, your time, energy, maybe health, relationships.
Definitely.
And the crucial thing isn't really avoiding those costs altogether, because maybe you can't. It's about consciously choosing which costs are worth it for you.
Exactly. Being intentional about the price you're willing to pay.
And if there's one powerful thought to leave everyone with, pulling from all the source material, what would it be?
I think it boils down to this, something stated quite directly in one source. True success is not just about climbing a ladder. It's about building a life you don't want to escape from.
Building a life you don't want to escape from. That's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
We hope this deep dive gives you some food for thought as you navigate your own journey and figure out what success truly means for your life.